Welcome back to our channel, ladies and gentlemen. A political storm is brewing between the Speaker of the National Assembly, Moses Masika Wetangula, and his boss, President William Samoei Ruto. This is because Moses Wetangula has proved to be very stubborn, and he has defied William Ruto's orders. He has refused to grant one of the very major William Ruto's wishes. You know that ever since William Ruto was elected and ascended to the highest position, William Ruto has had just one wish: to take Kenya to the darkest days, to the one-party state. That is why immediately when William Ruto was elected, he started buying off opposition leaders, people like Mark Nyamita of Uriri, Jalango of Langata, Elisha of Game, several members of the Jubilee Party led by Sabina Chege, because he wanted to render the opposition, inactive. Ruto's biggest wish is to ensure that it is only Ruto and the UDA. That's the reason why just recently Mudavadi had to fold his party and joined the UDA. But Moses Masika Wetangula has been telling William Ruto that he's brainstorming, he's trying to consult the National Executive Council of the party to find out whether they can fold the party, because he has always insisted that Ford Kenya is a very senior party, an old party, that he cannot make decisions on behalf of the members. So they've been consulting. They were in Elementaita Hotel trying to ventilate upon this. And Moses Wetangula has given William Ruto bad news that they will only join UDA over their dead bodies. William Ruto is daydreaming. They cannot. Now this story is reported in the mainstream media that Wetangula's Ford Kenya rejects calls to fold, says ready to form coalitions ahead of 2027. It goes further to say that in a bold declaration following its National Executive Council meeting held at Elementaita Lodge in Naivasha, Nakuru County, Ford Kenya has resolved not to dissolve the party, affirming its commitment to remain independent within the Kenya Kwanza coalition. The decision, made unanimously by the party leadership, comes amid calls from President William Ruto for constituent parties within the Kenya Kwanza alliance to merge into a single political party. However, for the Kenya, led by the National Assembly, Speaker Moses Wetangula has chosen a different path. Ladies and gentlemen, just how important is dissolution of all these affiliate parties into one major party to William Samoei Ruto? I want us to listen to the former Secretary General of the UDA, Cleophas Malala, who was brought to try and persuade Mudavadi, Wetangula, and maybe Amason Kingi to fold their party. And when you listen to this, you'll realize just how important and significant it was for William Ruto if this wish was granted. And listen very carefully as Cleophas Malala was saying that people like Kingi and Wetangula are holding public offices, and therefore they do not have any say with their constituent parties, and therefore they should allow the party officials to discuss matters dissolution. And we'll tell you that Cleophas Malala is working for a high authority, William Samoei Ruto himself.
He should first resign as the party leader of Ford Kenya and allow us now to engage the next party leader of Ford Kenya on matters dissolution. He cannot contribute because he's a state officer, and state officers are not allowed to contribute on matters, political parties, and to participate in politics. And that is not my position. That is the position of the Constitution. So I will be engaging, like right now, I'm engaging Governor Timami of Lam on dissolving ANC. I'm trying to convince him. I'm not engaging Musalia Mudavadi because Musalia Mudavadi is not a party leader. Our president believes in the rule of law, and we shall be expecting the Honorable Speaker, Moses Masika Wetangula, and the Honorable Speaker, Kingi, to follow the law to the letter. They are both lawyers. Let them resign and allow us to engage the new party leaders of their respective parties, persuade them without forcing anybody. These parties are as good as dissolved. It's only that they have not accepted that they are no longer politically viable.
Some quarters claim SG Malala is a gun for hire with clear, concise and crisp instructions from the big man.
Yes, I am a gun for hire for William Ruto. I don't care whatever name you give me, so long as my president in 2027 will be elected by landslide. Second, so long as I achieve a supermajority as the ruling party in the next parliament. Yes, I am a gun for hire.
And of course, you understand that that decision did not sit well with Mudavadi then, even though Mudavadi changed his mind. There was a U-turn and he had to fold his party. But Wetangula has remained resolute and he's not going to fold his party. But I want us to try and look at one thing here. Why do you think Moses Wetangula has declined to fold his party? That is the biggest question that I want us to look at, and maybe the consequences of remaining adamant, of rejecting, and defying Ruto orders. Because this is an order. This is like your boss telling you, please, can I send you outside? It is a polite request, but it is tantamount to an order that must be respected and obeyed. Kindly subscribe to our channel if you're watching us for the first time. Don't forget to like and share our videos, ladies and gentlemen. It goes a long way in promoting the video. Thank you very much for your continued support. Ladies and gentlemen, Wetangula has refused to fold this party because of lack of trust and suspicion between them and William Samoei Ruto. I want to draw your attention. After Moses Wetangula became the Speaker of the National Assembly in accordance to their agreement pre-election pact that they signed with William Ruto. So he had to resign because what he did, he never wanted to take any chances. So he contested for the Bungoma senatorial seat and he won. So after William Ruto won the seat, he decided to relinquish his seat. So people went for a by-election. But to his utter shock, Moses Wetangula had to contend with a candidate sponsored by William Ruto. There was a UDA candidate sponsored by William Ruto, ODM candidate, or rather Azimio, sponsored by Raila Amolo Odinga, and then his party. And Moses was like, I thought my only competitor would come from ODM. Why UDA? And that changed everything. And I also remember somewhere in deep down in Sabatia, William Ruto sponsored a candidate, and Mudavadi was crying loud that would it be proper for me to go and sponsor a candidate in Surgoi? So William Ruto never respects boundaries, and as such, Moses Wetangula is suspicious and there's lack of trust. He feels in the event that he folds his party, with William Ruto's appetite to control parties, to control regions. William Ruto wants to remain a kingpin in Mount Kenya, in Western. That is why they impeached Rigathi Gachagua when Rigathi was trying to unite Mount Kenya. He doesn't want to listen to anyone uniting his community because he does not want to go to a community through any other leader. He wants to go there himself. So Wetangula understands that in the event that he folds this party, and they are in UDA, they will not have a say. He's suspicious that William Ruto could have a very clandestine motive, an ulterior motive. That's why he feels it's better to remain with your party. It's like selling your birthright. If you remember the story of Esau and Jacob, and I think he does not want to lose this. He's very suspicious that William Ruto could use this to annihilate him politically because he saw what happened. Number two, political parties are bargaining tools. And Moses Wetangula understands too well. This is what he has done. He was in CORD, he was in NASA, So because he's got a party, the Ford Kenya party. So he knows very well that in the event that he's told, you now need to burn your own house and get into the UDA. I mean, it doesn't make sense. Choma nyumba yako ingie kwa nyumba yangu. I'll be controlling, I'll have the monopoly. I'll be sending you like a child in the house because you're in my house. You are coming into my house. Niko na familia. See, they will see you as visitors. You don't have, there are certain rights that you lose when you fold your party. So Wetangula knows very well that he will lose that bargaining power because once you fold your party, I mean, it is over for you. And I believe this is one of the reasons why Wetangula is very skeptical about folding his party. He does not want. Having a political vehicle is very important. You can trace these parties to certain families. You can trace the ODM to the Raila family, Jubilee to Uhuru family. You can trace KANU to Moi family, UDA to Ruto family. And that is the reason why Wetangula does not want. The moment you lose your party, you are rendered inactive. You are rendered useless. Do you remember what happened when Dan Manzo took the certificates of the ODM Kenya? So that's one thing that he doesn't want. There is this supremacy battle in Western. The moment Wetangula loses grip, sells his party, folds his party to join the UDA, then a narrative is going to be sold that now UDA has swallowed us and we need to have our own party. That is why even in 2022, there was this discussion that there were certain sons and daughters of Mulembe who did not want to associate directly with ODM, and that is why DAP was formed for them. So this time round, if Wetangula folds his party, and there is this clamor to control the Buhusu community, and George Natembeya is moving with speed, he's already declared a war against Moses Wetangula and Mudavadi. So with that supremacy battle, if Moses Wetangula folds his party, then the seat will automatically belong to Natembeya. And Natembeya will tell you, nimewambia hawa jamaa wanatumika tu, because already Natembeya is saying that these people have been there bragging of being the second in command. I don't know. One is a chief minister, one is the Speaker of the National Assembly, that in the event that of the absence of the president, both the president and the deputy, then Wetangula takes over. And he's wondering, we don't feel these people. He's been claiming that they reaches a point where there is what we call political godfather. When people have done their interviews and maybe people are at certain ranks at the police, at the military level, Natembeya says that it needs some support. But Wetangula and Mudavadi are not giving this support, and that's why since in independence, they've never had someone at the highest rank in the military. So if Wetangula folds his party, then it will give mileage to Natembeya, and he will be telling them, how watu ni ovyo kabisa. He does not want to lose grip in the Mulembe nation. He wants to try and wrestle this out. Of course, not very much, but every de facto leader of a political party is dreaming that one day they will have a fair share of the political party's fund. Kuna pesa hapo, taxpayers money. Hii Kenya kuna mahali pesa zinaingia mpaka unashangaa. Sasa hii pesa ni nini? And I think he's also eyeing that. You see, once he gets inside, he might not get it, even if you try to calculate the ratio. The person who will be controlling that is Ruto and his people. You can imagine what is happening now, that people like Mungatana and Jichupevu, Muhammad Ali, are saying that as they are already complaining about the grassroots, UDA grassroots elections, that Hassan Omar, who is the Secretary General, is playing mischief. Can you imagine if Moses Wetangula was part of the UDA? And then the Secretary General is appointed by William Ruto, because Hassan Omar was never elected, just the same way the Cleopas Malala was never elected. They are appointed. So you can imagine they are going for some party grassroots elections. In Bungoma, William Ruto will determine, and William Ruto's people will be elected and handed over those certificates. That is how Wetangula's branches will be cut off, so that he remains very weak. And I believe, in light of what is happening, Wetangula has just said, I'm not going to join. What could be the consequences? Number one, there's bad blood between Moses Wetangula and William Ruto. It cannot be shown in public, but Wetangula has remained obstinate and very stubborn. William Ruto does not like that. You know that very well. So there's going to be bad blood. There could be an attempt to oust Moses Wetangula. They can simply say with Raila Amolo Odinga that we are giving this seat. There were rumors that his seat was to be handed over to Otiende Amolo. If they decide to pay to revenge against Moses Wetangula, they will simply do that. It will be very easy. They have the numbers. That is how they ousted and impeached Rigathi Gachagua. That is what they did to Rigathi Gachagua allies, who are the chairpersons of the National Assembly committees. So they can decide to oust Moses Wetangula. I don't know what to think, but Moses Wetangula has remained adamant. He does not want to lose that party. But the game has just started. We are waiting to see who blinks first.